that it usually doesn't work out so well if I put anything in the title other than submarines are not real. But let's be really obvious about what we're doing this time, right? So I'm talking about Jeffrey Epstein, who is, I want to say he's, one of the worst pieces of shit, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to say that. But I just, the only reason I know about it led me to. There are so many other people who have done Epstein-esque things and never gotten in trouble. We've never heard about them. We don't know who they are. So why was Epstein thrust into the limelight like he was? And I think it was, they did a good job, right? They did a good job of, making it look like they were going after the pedos. It was a good show. And it's one of those things where, like, some is better than none. So in your head, you hear these occasional Epstein, Weinstein stories, and you don't make the obvious connection there, but you feel better. They tell you that, look, we care, we're protecting you. And with Epstein, he died, so it's like real, stick it to him. But, it also kills the narrative. It kills the story. The story doesn't get to go any further. And if it tries to, like with Prince Andrew and all that shit, it just gets shut down. Or they do the thing where they release the Epstein list. And it's like 1,000 pages, just sort of all messy, and no list is there. It's like, here's a bunch of stuff you can look through. Like they don't have an absolute list. Like the FBI and CIA didn't bust the Epstein residences and find them all outfitted with the highest levels of Israeli security tech. Spy tech, cameras and microphones in every room. And in every residence of his, they found a safe. And in that safe were video cassettes and DVDs, video cassettes, because it goes back a ways, and DVDs and flash drives and things that store media. And on those things was written the name of the person, the famous person, the name of the victim, and how old they were. This was, they found multiple safes full of these video evidence with everybody you can imagine on it. And the reason it was what it was is because Epstein was a very, very high-ranking Israeli operative. Special intelligence, secret intelligence, whatever name you want to give it, he was an operative. That's why he had such high-level connections. That's why when he was given his super sweetheart deal, the prosecutor said that it was beyond his pay grade. Word came from above that Epstein was to be let go, was to be given the sweetheart deal. And so it's stuff like this where, you have to put your feelings down. You've been told you're not allowed to talk about these people. It's the same as saying nigger. You can't say that. It's the same. You're being racist. You've been morning, Pam. Oh, so good to see you. You've been told you're not supposed to talk about these things. I'm wondering if my numbers are going to go up this time, or if it's because I did something different with the title. If I do something different with the title, it doesn't usually work. But I really wanted to be Pacific today. You know what I should have done is I should have just put it on after the fact. Maybe that's the better thing to do. I'll give it to 10 minutes. If we get to 10 minutes and nobody's here, well, I don't mean nobody, but we'll have to do a reset. But the Epstein narrative is a very well-crafted, manufactured narrative. And it goes a lot further back than people realize. Right? It doesn't start with Epstein. And so it actually goes back to this, Ghislaine Maxwell, her dad. Her dad was media mogul Robert Maxwell. And Robert Maxwell was another incredibly high-ranking Israeli operative, positioned in a different, in a position, given a position and a title and power and all these things. So we're gonna read about this guy, and then I'll add in and whatnot what I know that's not being talked about, but we'll see what the story says. So we're gonna start back with Robert Maxwell. Belch. Excuse me. Ian Robert Maxwell. Isn't it interesting that this guy changed his name, his whole identity? He even added a middle name. Like usually when people change something, they'll change the first name or last name, but change the middle name too. Ian Robert Maxwell, born Jan Ludwig Hyman Benjamin Hoch. It's a pretty extensive name. 5 names there. Born June 10th, 1923. By the way, if you're watching this, don't forget to like, share, and sub. Really need your help. An Epstein video is going to be a lot harder to get out than normal. So I really need you guys to help a halfie out. Let's help a halfie day. Help a halfie out. Born June 10th, 1923. Died November 5th, 1991. Was a Czechoslovakian. No, Czechoslovak. Have you ever seen that before? No. It says Czechoslovak born.
Maybe they were trying to save characters on the page.
What are you talking about? There's an endless page, and that's what, 4 more characters? But I always appreciate when my wife does that, right? Because that's like, it's a great example of how the programming works into our heads just make an excuse for the system, even though it doesn't quite make sense. Our heads will just say that and move on. Like my wife wouldn't look at it and then be like, wow, that's fucking weird. Why is it like that? Blah, blah, blah. She's gonna, in her mind, it's a logical, oh, they're probably just trying to save room. But it's not like you then don't go, it's the protection mechanism that's been put in place to make us think that way. Again, I'm not shitting on my wife here. We all do it. Where we come across these little roadblocks, and instead of asking, why is it like that? We just go, oh, well, it must be this. Or we always give the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, it's like, look at this page. There's no reason for them. They have endless room. Why would they cut off the IAN? Like that's not saving any. But that's just, again, I'm not shitting on her. This is what we do. It's the holes. It's the holes I'm always talking about. Why it's always so important to talk about things and say things out loud, because our heads will fill in the holes for us as we're trying to get through something. And it's the underwear gnomes thing, right, from South Park, where it's, You know, first step is steal all the underpants. Third step is take over the world. Well, what's the second step? And I don't know. Never thought about that. That's why when you have these great ideas in your head and then you go and try to tell somebody and you're like, wait, I can't really put it in the word because it's dumb. And there's all these holes there that your brain just smoothed over because you wanted to think that way. And that's what, again, that's just a simple little exercise showing that, oh, you know what? They're probably just wanted to save on characters. That's weird. Why would they choose to save characters? Wonder what that is. Anyway, was a Czechoslovak-born British media proprietor, politician, and fraudster. All right. Member of Parliament for Buckingham Palace, right? In office from October 15th, 1964 to May 29th, 1970. He was born in Czechoslovakia, now Solotano, Ukraine. I didn't know Czechoslovakia became Ukraine. Huh. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a quick reset because clearly this isn't working. So if you want to be a part of it, come back.